Thank you for visiting my YouTube channel to get your daily Bible verse and Bible chapter. I hope you have a great day and come back each and every day for a new verse and a new chapter. Thank you and God bless. 1 Kings 7. Solomon's palace built. Solomon was building his own house for 13 years, and he finished all his house. He built the house of the Forest of Lebanon. Its length was 100 cubits, and its width was 50 cubits, and its height was 30 cubits. Built on 4 rows of cedar pillars with cedar beams upon the pillars. It was covered with cedar over the top of the beams, which sat upon 45 pillars, 15 in a row. There were windows frames in 3 rows, and window opposite window in 3 tiers. All the doors and posts were rectangular, with the openings facing each other in the 3 tiers. A breadth of 30 cubits. He made a porch of pillars with a length of 50 cubits and a breadth of 30 cubits. There was a porch in front of the pillars, and a canopy in front of them. Then he made a porch for the throne, from which he would judge, and called it the Hall of Judgment. It was covered with cedar from one side of the floor to the other. His own house, where he lived, in the other court back of the hall, was similar in style. Solomon also made a house like this for Pharaoh's daughter, whom he had taken as a wife. All these were built with costly stones, cut to size, and sawed with saws on the inside and outside, from the foundation up to the coping. Throughout the outside toward the great court, the foundation was of large, costly stones of 10 and 8 cubes in size. Above were costly stones cut to size, along with cedar. The great court was enclosed with 3 rows of huge stones and a row of cedar beams, which were the inner court of the house of the Lord, and the porch of the house. King Solomon sent and called Hiram out of Tyre He was the son of a widow from the tribe of Naphtali. And his father was a man of Tyre, who worked in bronze, and he was filled with wisdom and understanding and skill to make all sorts of items in bronze. So he came to King Solomon and performed all his work. He cast 2 pillars from bronze, 18 cubits high each, and 12 cubits in circumference. He made 2 capitals of cast bronze to sit on the tops of the pillars. The height of one capital was 5 cubits, and the height of the other capital was 5 cubits. He made lattice of checker work with wreaths of chain work for the capitals on top of the pillars. 7 for one capital and 7 for the other. Likewise, he made pomegranates in 2 rows around the lattice work to cover the capital that was on the top of the pillar. And he made the same for the other capital. The capitals were on top of the pillars in the porch, were 4 cubits high and in the shape of lilies. The capitals on top of the 2 pillars had pomegranates above by the complex surface, which was next to the lattice work. There were 200 pomegranates in a row, encircling each capital. He set the pillars in the porch of the temple. He set up the right pillar and called it Jachin. And he set the left pillar and called it Boaz. The types of the pillars were in the shapes of lilies. This completed the work on the pillars. He made a cast metal seat 10 cubits from one side to the other. It was round and had a height of 5 cubits and a line of 30 cubits encircled it. Under the brim, all the way around, there were crowns 10 in cubits when it was cast. The crowns were placed in 2 rows, going all the way around it. It stood on top of 12 oxen, with 3 facing north, and 3 facing toward the west. 3 facing toward the south, and 3 facing toward the east. The sea was set on them, and their hindquarters were turned inward. It was a hand beneath thick, and the brim was made similar to the brim of a cup, like a lily blossom. It could hold 2,000 baths. It made 10 stands out of bronze, measuring 4 cubits long, 4 cubits wide, and 3 cubits high. The work of the stands looked like this. They had panels, and panels were set in the frames. And on the panels that were set in the frames were lions, oxen, and cherubims. On the frames, both above and below the lions and the oxen, there were wreaths of velvet work. Every stand had 4 bronze wheels and axles of bronze, and at the 4 corners were supported for a basin. The supports were cast with wreaths in the side of each. Its opening was within a crown that was projected upward 1 cubit. Its opening was round, like the work of a pedestal, a cubit and a half deep. At its opening, there were engravings, and its panels were 4-sided, not round. Underneath the panels were 4 wheels, and the axles of the wheels joined the stand, and the height of the wheel was 1.5 cubits. The wheels worked like chariot wheels, in that their axles and rims and spokes and hubs were all cast metal. There were 4 supports for the corners of each stand, and the supports were part of a piece of which the stand itself. On the top of the stand, there were around 1.5 cubits high, and on top of the stand it stays, and its panels were of one piece with it. On the surface it stays, and on its panel he engraved cherub lions and palm trees, according to the space of each, with a wreath all around. And this way he made 10 stands, with them all having the same shape, measure, and size. Then he made 10 basins of bronze, with each basin able to hold 40 baths, each being 4 cubits. Upon every one of the 10 stands set a basin. He put 5 stands on the right side of the house and 5 stands on the left side of the house. He set the sea on the right side of the house toward the southeast. Hiram also made the pots, shovels, and the basins. So Hiram finished all the work in making the items for King Solomon for use in the house of the Lord: the 2 pillars, the 2 bowls of the capitals that were on top of the 2 pillars, the 2 lattice works to cover each of the bowls of the capitals that were upon top of the pillars, and the 400 pomegranates for the 2 lattice works, 2 rows of pomegranates for each lattice work to cover the 2 bowls of the capitals that were on the pillars, the 10 stands, the 10 basins on the stands, 1 sea, and 12 oxen under the sea, the pots, the shovels, and the basins. All these vessels made Hiram made for the king for the house of the Lord were of burnished bronze in the plain of the Jordan. The king cast them in the clay ground between Succoth and Zareth. Solomon left all the vessels unweighted, because there were so many. The weight of the bronze was also never measured. Solomon made all the vessels that were needed for the house of the Lord: the altar of gold, the table of gold on which was showbread, the candlesticks of pure gold, 5 on the right side, and 5 on the left before the inner sanctuary. The flowers, the lamps, and the tongues of gold. The cups, the snuffers, basin, dishes, and crease, fire pans of pure gold. The sockets for the doors of the innermost part of the house, the most holy place, and for the doors of the nave of the temple of gold. All the work that King Solomon made for the house of the Lord was completed, and Solomon brought in things which David his father had declared, silver and gold, and the cups, and he put them among the treasures of the house of the Lord. First John 4:19. We love him because he first loved us. First John 4:19. We loved him because he first loved us. One of my favorite verses is Philippians 4:13. And it says, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. If you have your own favorite verse, please put that down below and let me know what it is. 1 John 4:19. We love him because he first loved us. Always remember to smile, because you never know what a smile can do for someone's day. Thank you, and God bless. Thank you for watching today's video. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe so you can remember to watch each and every day's video. Thank you for the ones that have been with me from the beginning. Please help me expand my ministry. Thank you, and God bless.